History's most dangerous katana, the sword that broke its master, Raikiri, the Thunder Cutter, June 5th, 1548, Fujikita, Bungo Province. Tachibana Dōsetsu is 35 years old, a warrior in his prime. He shelters under a large tree as a summer storm rolls in. He falls asleep. Thunder wakes him. Startled by the noise, he draws his sword. And then lightning crashes down, splitting the air with a booming crack. What happens next depends on who tells the tale. Many accounts claim he cut the thunder god himself. Some versions say he slashed at a lightning beast hiding inside the bolt. Others say he simply struck at the sky and survived. What we know, lightning struck. Somehow, Dosetsu lived. But from that day forward, something changed. Records vary on how badly he was injured. From his legs were a constant source of pain throughout his life, to his left leg suffered permanent damage, to half his body was paralyzed. The truth is probably somewhere in between, and his condition likely worsened over time. Later accounts describe an honor guard carrying him into battle on a palanquin. He commanded armies and cut down enemies from there after he could no longer rely on his legs to support him. From the day of the lightning strike on, his sword, once called Chidori, or Thousand Birds, bore a new name, Raikiri, the Thunder Cutter. Fighting on, from horseback. The legend is absurd. No blade cuts lightning. No one can kill a god with mere steel. But something happened under that tree. Dosetsu's injury was undeniable. Although the extent of it is unclear, the military record that followed was extraordinary. Here is what the period sources actually say. In 1567, 19 years after the lightning strike, Dosetsu fought at the Battle of Yasumimatsu. 7 warriors fell under his katana. In 1568, at the Battle of Tatarahama, he charged directly into enemy lines on horseback and fought furiously. No palanquin, no platform mentioned. Whatever the lightning had done to him, it had not stopped him from fighting like a demon. The first recorded use of a palanquin, or koshi, comes in 1570, 22 years after his clash with the lightning god. At the Battle of Imayama, sources note that Dosetsu rode a palanquin to support his disabled left leg. What this suggests is that the initial injury was not enough to stop him. He fought on from horseback for 2 decades. The damage to his leg may have worsened with age, or the accumulated strain of 37 campaigns finally demanded further adaptation. By the time he needed the palanquin, he was 57 years old, yet he refused to stay out of the fight. The image passed down in stories of a paralyzed general carried into battle after tangling with the thunder god compresses the true story. Reports of Dosetsu commanding from his palanquin later in life took on the air of legend, omitting decades of fighting through his injury on horseback. Born into battle, even from the palanquin, he remained dangerous. This was not a man being carried to safety. This was a commander who ordered his vanguard forward into enemy formations. Tradition holds that he told his guards they could throw him down and flee at any time if the fight turned against them. None ever did. Before the lightning strike, Dosetsu was a capable warrior among many skilled fighters of his era. After, though maimed, he was known as the samurai who clashed with the thunder god and lived. That bolt made him a legend. Not even lightning could stop him. He was transformed in body and in myth. He became Oni Dosetsu, Demon Dosetsu, the thunder god incarnate. The power of myth. The myth did its work. Takeda Shingen, one of the most feared warlords of the era, reportedly wished he could cross the country to test himself against Dosetsu. He never got the chance. Dosetsu fought over 100 engagements in his lifetime, adapting his methods to overcome the limitations of his body just as he adapted his battle tactics to the terrain. A general who could no longer fight from horseback still had to find a way to win. The palanquin became his signature. the injury that would not fully heal, proof of what he had survived. And although that fateful draw of his sword had cost him something under that tree years ago, it became evidence that he was unstoppable. The silent procession. Dōsetsu died in 1585 of natural causes while still on campaign at 72 years old. His body was transported home through hostile territory. Tradition holds that enemy forces who learned of his death did not attack. They let the procession pass in silence. Even in death, his reputation commanded respect. Marked by lightning, passed down the centuries. The blade still exists, inherited by his daughter, Ginchio, a warrior in her own right with an equally impressive tale, then to Tachibana Muneshige, her husband, first lord of the Yanagawa domain. You can see Raikiri at the Tachibana Museum in Yanagawa, Fukuoka Prefecture. It is shorter than it likely was in Dōsetsu's hands, originally a long tachi, later shortened to a wakizashi. It would seem Dōsetsu's sword adapted to changing tactics just as its owner had. As warfare shifted from mounted combat to infantry engagements, longer swords became impractical. Many tachi were cut down during the Muromachi and Sengoku periods. When a blade is shortened significantly, a process called surya-ge, the tang is cut, and with it, the maker's signature is lost. This is likely why Raikiri is unsigned. On careful inspection, you'll notice discolored markings near the tip. Some speculate these are remnants of the lightning strike, scorch marks from 1548, still visible after nearly 5 centuries, though this is unverified. They could be from lightning. They could be centuries of wear. Who can say? A demon born of thunder. Here is what we are left with. A man sheltered under a tree. Lightning struck. Something in his body changed. How much and how quickly? Sources do not agree. He renamed his sword Raikiri after that incident, and then he fought for nearly 4 more decades, adapting his methods as the damage accumulated, cutting down enemies on horseback, and later from a wooden palanquin carried by loyal guards who refused to abandon him in the thick of battle. Myth holds that he struck down a god. The truth is probably simpler. The lightning strike left him permanently injured, and legend built on that mystery. The blade survived Dōsetsu's campaigns and centuries more. Now it rests behind glass. The scorch marks are still there. Whether they are proof of lightning, legend, or just time is a question that hasn't been answered. Some swords are dangerous because of what they did. Raikiri is dangerous because the man the thunder god struck down fought like a demon for the rest of his life. Oni Dosetsu, he taught his enemies to fear what lightning could not kill. At Dream of Japan, we don't make blades to be protected. Hard use under real conditions is how each blade earns its story. This has been history's most dangerous katana, Episode 5, The Sword That Broke Its Master, Raikiri, the Thunder Cutter. Next time, 36 immortal poets, 36 dead retainers, 1 sword, Kasen Kanesada. Like, subscribe, and join the newsletter for more real samurai history and epic sword content.